Hi, I'm Howie Hawkins. I'm the Green Party candidate for governor. And one of the central platforms or planks of my platform is to go to 100% clean energy and zero net carbon emissions by 2030. And that's what the climate science says industrial states like New York have to do. I ran on that in 2010 and in 2014, and since 2014 we've actually got legislation. It's called the New York Off Bill, off fossil fuels, and it would set up the things we need to do to get to 100% clean energy by 2030. And you know, my pitch today to people is that we got to focus on that demand like we did on the fracking ban in 2014. We can't be unclear about this. There's another bill called the Climate and Community Protection Act, and it basically codifies this guy's policy, Andrew Cuomo. It says that one tweak is instead of 80% reduction of carbon emission by 2050, they'll go to 100%. But they keep his inadequate goal of 50% renewable electricity by 2030. Electricity is only about a quarter of the carbon footprint, which means you're only reducing the carbon footprint of the state with that goal by about 12 to 14%. It's totally inadequate. You actually look at the bill, Climate and Community Protection Act, and it says right in there, we want to stabilize carbon equivalents in the atmosphere of 450 parts per million. That's not enough to keep us below the 2 degrees rise in Celsius that people say is a tipping point that gets us to runaway global warming. We're talking about 350 parts per million. So to get behind a bill that says our goal is 450 is just irresponsible. And I think the climate movement and the politicians got to get clear. We want to get below 350 parts per million, and the bill to do that is the New York Off Bill, off fossil fuels. And it's got a lot of co-sponsors, it's got a lot of organizations around the state. But these two bills are out there, and some people are saying, oh, one is progress. No, not if it codifies what this man here, Governor Cuomo, wants to do. That other bill doesn't say no frack gas infrastructure. It doesn't say no nukes. It doesn't set up benchmarks like the New York Off Bill does. For example, no new construction that's not carbon net zero after 2020. No vehicles sold in the state that aren't zero emissions after 2025. The New York Off Bill also sets up climate action councils in every county and in every municipality in the state that is more than 50,000 people. So you're planning from the bottom up, a realistic plan. So these are the things that we got to be really clear about. And it's the New York Off Bill, and I hope people will get behind that bill, and we can focus on it in this campaign so that whoever's elected has got to deal with the people demanding we want 100% clean energy and net zero carbon or greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. And if we commit to that, not only is it good for the climate, it's great for the economy. It will create hundreds of thousands of jobs, and once the clean energy systems build out, electric rates will be half. We have a study from scientists from Cornell and Stanford that did a whole study on this. And the reason it reduces the electric rates is you don't have to buy fuel. You don't have to buy this fossil fuel. You don't have to buy nuclear rods. The sun shines, the wind blows, the river flow, the tides, the heat in the earth for ground source heat pumps to heat and cool our buildings. That's energy all around us. And we just build the technology to harvest it. And we can lower the electric rates. So it's good for the economy too. And that really is